planning this since before the birth of our nation.
This is war.
I know this key. Benjamin Franklin. We must find him.
Are you sure you know where we're going?
Unquestionably.
Even a man from the 18th century won't ask for directions.
This is insane.
War is hell.
Welcome to Watch Shane Watch Stuff. I'm Shane Andrews, and today we're going to be talking about Sleepy Hollow Season 2, Episode 1, This is War. The show just started this past Monday night, and I cannot tell you how excited I was that Sleepy Hollow returned for a second season. Season 1 was only a few episodes. It was like half a season, about 13 episodes last year. And I remember thinking at the end of the 13 episodes, please, Fox, please renew Sleepy Hollow and make it a show on your slate for the 2014-2015 television year. And I was so excited to see that it was. And you know, Sleepy Hollow, this show is a fast-paced, crazy show. The basic premise, if you haven't watched it, is there's this guy, Ichabod Crane, who was alive during the Revolutionary War period, who has suddenly awoken in modern day and finds this lieutenant, Abby Barnes, and teams up with her, and together they are fighting against the coming apocalypse. So if you haven't watched this show, Sleepy Hollow, stop right now, go back, watch Sleepy Hollow Season 1. It's all available on Hulu Plus right now, so that is definitely a must-see, a must-check out for any fan of any sort of horror, adventure, if you like National Treasure, but you also like a little bit of kind of horror-esque elements to a show. Sleepy Hollow is the show for you. It is great. It's action-packed every episode, crazy adventure, lots of treasure hunts, and the best is the interactions between these characters, especially the two main characters, Ichabod Crane and Abby Barnes. Their interactions are priceless, and there's actually some pretty awesome YouTube videos right now kind of chronicling through all the best Abby and Ichabod moments, so definitely a must check out. Anyhow, Season 2, it starts off right where Season 1 left off. And right now, I'm just going to say, if you don't want to talk about spoilers, or you don't want to see or hear about what's happening in this episode, this is the time to stop, go back, watch Season 1. I promise you will not be disappointed with this show. Season 2 starts off where Season 1 left off. And what happened at the end of the finale of Season 1 is we left Ichabod Crane in a box in the ground dying because his son, who happens to be the second horseman of the apocalypse, the horseman of war, has put him there. We also have Ichabod Crane's wife, Katrina Crane, fresh out of purgatory, who has been taken away by the Headless Horseman, who is also a previous lover of Katrina Crane in the past. And he's taken her away at the end of this episode of Season 1's finale. And we also have Abby Barnes left in purgatory, under just complete terror, running away from the demon Moloch, who is trying to get out of purgatory, take over the world. And Abby, she had at one point an amulet, but she lost it, that was supposed to protect her from Moloch, but she's trying to find that now, trying to find a way back to the mortal world. We also have Abby's sister Jenny, who was left in a car accident on the road after the Headless Horseman shot out her tires, left her in this middle of the road in a car crash after she discovered some very important information about the second horseman of the apocalypse. And she was on her way to tell Ichabod and Abby when this whole scene goes down. Crazy, crazy stuff. We also have the captain. His name is, let me check here, I have it in my notes. His name is Frank Irving. He has been sent up to go to trial for a murder that he did not commit, but is admitting to. So this show is just crazy. It is insane, insane, insane. And I remember thinking at the end of Season 1, how in the world are they going to ever pick this up for Season 2? What are they going to do? And I was reading some different reports about Season 2 when it was announced that Season 2 would be coming back. We would be getting a second season of this show. I was reading some different reports and some news items about the show, and they said that this first episode, This is War, was going to be starting a year later from the events of the season finale. And I remember thinking, okay, why are they doing this? Is this just a cop-out to say, we don't really know how to get them out of these situations, so we're just going to skip ahead in time and figure it out as the season goes? Or was this like another amazing move by the writers of this show to say, we've got amazing stuff up our sleeves, trust us, we know what we're doing? Well, I must tell you, this episode opens out, and it is a year in the future. And it opens out with this great interaction between Ichabod Crane and Abby Barnes, and it is Ichabod's birthday. And she is explaining to him the intricacies of blowing out a birthday candle, which is just worth the watch completely, to watch this whole little scene unfold. It's great. I love the interactions between the two of them, as I've said, and it is worth watching the show just for those moments. It's a great, great moment in the show. So we have a lot of crazy stuff happening. We have Abby stuck in purgatory, and all of a sudden they're a year ahead. But what happens is we find out later that they are actually both under some sort of mind control by the second horseman of the apocalypse. We don't know exactly how he's doing this, but somehow he is in both of their minds because he's looking for information about the key that Benjamin Franklin hung on his kite in the electrical storm, and where he supposedly found out about electricity. Only that's not what happened, because as we know in Sleepy Hollow, when there are different revolutionary characters such as George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and now Benjamin Franklin, they really weren't up to all those great little things that we thought they were according to our history books. No, apparently they were working to stop the apocalypse. And that's what Benjamin Franklin was apparently doing as well. So we have that's going on, and they find out that they are somehow inside their heads, and then we go back to the right moment after season 1, where Ichabod Crane is stuck in the box, Katrina Crane is stuck in this barn with the headless horseman, Jenny is unconscious on the side of the road, and we have Abby Barnes in purgatory. Now this key apparently is a key that is supposed to be able to open purgatory and will allow someone to come out without being replaced. Because the rules that the show set up was that in purgatory, if someone, a living soul, is in purgatory, the only way for them to leave is if another living soul takes their place. But this key is like a bypass, a way to get out of purgatory without having to replace a living soul. So they obviously are looking for this key. Abby and Ichabod want it so they can get Abby out of purgatory, but Moloch also wants this key because he wants to release an undead army of Revolutionary War zombies out upon the world. So this is the basic premise of the episode, and it is crazy. Just top notch all the way around. There's great action sequences here, there's some great character development that happens, and we find out some very interesting things about the second horseman of the apocalypse, the Horseman of War, played by John Noble, who is playing, I think, one of my favorite roles of him. I loved him in Fringe when he played Walter, but I think I love him even more in this role as Henry Parrish, the second horseman of the apocalypse. It is great. You know, another character that was very interesting to me in this episode, who I felt like was finally coming into her own, was Jenny Mills, Abby's sister. In season 1, there was some interesting things with Jenny where she was in an asylum, and they thought she was crazy, and she was kind of a vigilante, and I just never really connected with her character, never really liked her character very much. Didn't know what they were trying to do with her exactly, and I feel like in this episode, first episode of season 2, they have discovered what to do with her. They have figured her out, and they have some great stuff for her to do. And I really, really liked, she ends up teaming up with Ichabod for a little while. I loved watching them team up, because it was like almost kind of like we have Abby back from purgatory, but not really, because this is Jenny and she's different, and she's kind of a different personality to Ichabod's, and the way they interact is really great. And so I feel like they fleshed her out very well and gave her some more stuff to do that wasn't just kind of random and tag along with the rest of the gang sort of feel. So I thought that was really great. I thought they did a really good job with Jenny. Also, you know, the other thing that was kind of interesting about this episode, it was fairly quickly wrapped up. You know, everything by the end of this episode, we are set on track. Everything's great. I won't totally give away everything here, just in case you haven't watched the episode yet, the ending of it, but everything's kind of back to a great spot, so to speak. Like, they're ready to fight. War is coming to Sleepy Hollow. Abby and Ichabod are ready to go. They're ready to be like, let's do this. Let's get out there and let's keep fighting. And we also have this very interesting end scene where we have Henry Parrish in a room with this knight of armor, in armor, who has a flaming sword. And Moloch allows this armor knight with the flaming sword to go out into Sleepy Hollow, and that's kind of where we leave everything, with Moloch telling the second horseman of the apocalypse to bring war. So it'll be very interesting to see if this is kind of another undefeatable sort of character like the Headless Horseman, who the Headless Horseman, whenever he gets shot, gets back up, keeps going. There's nothing they can really do to stop him, it seems. I mean, Ichabod Crane cut off his head a couple hundred years ago, and he's still going strong. So I think this will be kind of another unstoppable sort of character. We'll see what happens with that, what they do exactly with that character should be interesting. One other very interesting thing that they kind of reveal in this episode, it's not really a big, huge spoiler, but if you really don't want spoilers, you probably should have checked out a few minutes ago. But they reveal how Katrina, when she was in Purgatory all last season, they reveal how she was able to actually talk to Ichabod all the different times that she did. And it was very interesting because kind of what it is there's a mirror in Moloch's lair in Purgatory that's in the shape of an upside-down star. And so Abby ends up going to this mirror to talk to Ichabod at one point in the episode. So Abby is there in front of this mirror, and she's going to talk to Ichabod Crane through this mirror. And what happens is Ichabod, as he looks into his rear view mirror in the car, he instantly is transported somehow to where Abby is, and they can see each other. Now this was my problem with this whole scene, and I was like, what? Wait a minute. What's going on here? Because whenever Katrina was talking to Ichabod, it was always in the middle of the forest. And now, all of a sudden, Ichabod's in this lair with Abby, and this is like the place where this mirror is. And so if, by the rules of the show, if whoever's talking to someone outside of Purgatory brings them to that place, so to speak, so they can talk in this lair, why didn't Ichabod ever go to this lair before? Why all of a sudden now he's in the lair? It was just a very interesting thing that I was like, I don't know if the show writers thought about this, or if they have a good answer for it, or what the dealio is. But, a little bit of a plot hole. But you know what? Whatever. I really don't care, because the rest of the show is amazing. And something small like that, I can brush off and say whatever. The other very funny thing they did was with Benjamin Franklin. They kind of turned his character on his head, make him kind of a jerk, kind of an interesting, pompous guy, and do some very interesting stuff with him that I was like, well, that's interesting. A very different view of Benjamin Franklin from the history books we always read. But it was quite funny what they did, so I really liked that. I think, you know, the show, great show. Like I've said, if you aren't watching Sleepy Hollow, what are you doing? Because you're wasting time and wasting your life not watching the show. Okay, maybe not wasting your life. That's a little strong. But seriously, check out Sleepy Hollow. It's on Fox on Mondays. Definitely watch it. It's a great show. They usually post it on Hulu Plus after the episode airs a couple days later. So just definitely check it out. It's a great, great show. And watch also for my discussion of the preview trailer for episode 2, Kindred. So we'll talk about that later. Hey, check back in. We're going to be posting some reviews of Gotham and a couple other reviews of some shows from this week. So thanks for tuning in, and we hope to talk to you next time. Bye.